Welcome, everyone. I'd like to introduce you to me. I'm Sharon Chandler, the Executive Director of Yes to College Educational Resources, Inc. Today, we will be featuring our African American Women's Health Legacy Program. In this program, we partner with the Capital City Black Nurses Association, the Brick House Art Gallery, and we are sponsored also by California Endowment. But we want to take this opportunity to welcome you to our third annual Black History Month, Black Nurses, Past, Present, and Future, Building Our Healthcare Legacy. And in our programming, we always talk about building a legacy because we want to leave something behind us, something of value behind us. But today, we have the opportunity to talk with several nurses who are going to exemplify our theme. And we all know that we're in a pandemic emergency now, but this isn't the first one we've had. So we have a nurse who has been through emergencies in the past, and one who is currently working one. And then we even have future nurses who want to give their opinions and their outlooks on what their career will be and what the state of our community will be in the future. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to our first guest, Miss Charde Vance, who is a vocational nursing student. Welcome, Charde.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being with us. And we're just going to have a casual conversation about, you've decided that you wanted to go to school and become a nurse, and so
Yes,
you're one of our future nursing students. And
yes.
I'm just curious, why nursing? Why would you want to become a nurse?
Okay, so this question is something that I can say has grown with me over time. Well, the answer to this question, mainly because in my early 20s, I knew I wanted to become a nurse, but I didn't know why. I knew I wanted to do something in healthcare, but at the time, I was only presented as, oh, you should just be, a nurse. I didn't know about other healthcare disciplines in the field. Life happened. I decided to do something totally different with my life. And now in my mid 30s, I'm back to now I know why I want to be a nurse. Well, one for sure is that, with age, you do start to see, more hospitalizations with your family members. You start to see disparities in certain communities. I noticed whenever I had to go to the doctor or get education or some type of information, it was never from someone that looked like me. So I was always a little hesitant to take what they had to say to me as something that was the truth. Um, so now I'm back in nursing, and I just feel like who I am and what I have been through in life has put me on the right trajectory to become a nurse and to become optimistic about where this is going to be in the future. I want people in my communities, in Black and Brown communities, to feel safe in healthcare because it's not just taking your medication. It's not just, getting out and going for a walk. It's, our mental health. It's our physical health. It's our overall well-being. And that's what I think education, being able to be on platforms as such as this one and getting our voices heard and recognized is something that I want to be a part of.
Well,
So it's bigger than me. It's bigger than me.
yeah. Well,
Yes.
and I think about my past experiences in the medical realm. Being a patient when
Yes.
I had nurses who, or even my doctor. Not too long ago, I was able to have the opportunity to have a doctor who looked like me, and
Mm,
it made a world of difference in comfort and reliability and truth and just concern, the compassion, the compassion factor. Not saying that other folks don't have that, but when you have, and we have shared life experiences that we
right.
talk about, and so I understand, wanting to be a nurse and be able to relate to especially our community, our African American community. So I know you're in school now. You're almost done, and so what are you looking forward to? We're in a pandemic. Uh,
Yeah.
Historically, we're in pandemics, all the time, but this one seems to be more at home, more related to, us personally, because so many deaths in such a short time. So, what are you looking forward to, and what are you anticipating in your career when you get out of school?
Okay, so I'm going to answer this as truthfully as possible.
All right.
So I feel as if the way I envisioned nursing school before, now being in a pandemic, is nothing how I was expecting to experience it. I'm not getting a lot of patient care experience. And the ones I am getting is kind of very limited. Being a vocational nursing student, most of our settings are in long-term and short-term healthcare. So I'm seeing how COVID-19 is hitting these long-term and short-term care facilities the hardest, especially in our communities. We're getting hit harder by this virus, and the education, the knowledge is not necessarily there for us. So one thing I am very interested in is actually applying my nursing skill set, and going out there and educating and seeing people and talking to people and helping them, for someone that has the information, that someone that has the medical background, and someone that is trusted in the community to show, like, hey, I understand that we are in a pandemic, but these are things that we need to take care of for ourselves. I just want to be able to be a catalyst to certain conversations that we need to have, along the way of trying to get under this and over this, because for myself, I know, um, at our even at my dinner table, we talk about, Henrietta Lacks and the Tuskegee Airmen, and even the Spanish flu, and how, what's the difference between then and now. And it really comes down to information and education. And that's one thing I really want to push out there, is the correct information, the correct education, and showing people like, hey, you have the same, resources that I have. You can look at nursing journals, you can look at, medical journals, and get this information. You are not in the dark, and you have every reason to ask these questions. So that's something that I just want to, be an advocate for people that look like me, and, that have questions like me. So that's exactly where I want to be.
Okay. Well, there's such a controversy about the vaccine that's available. Uh, I don't know if you want to share with us or not, but what are your opinions about the vaccine? I mean, you're not actually with patients yet. I don't know if you've taken if you've accepted the vaccine, but what opinions, if any, do you have about the vaccine?
Okay, so I am seeing patients, not as much as I would like to,
Mhm.
only because long-term and short-term facilities have been hit harder, with the COVID-19, and it spreads like wildfire through these facilities. So, but the facilities that have allowed nurses to come back and student nurses to come back and actually practice our skill sets, and we're using complete PPE. Myself and my classmates are very aware of, these people have family members that have not seen them in over a year. And we don't take it for granted that we're able to come in and take care of their family members. So for myself, I am getting the vaccine. I have not received it yet because my facility has ran out. And I think it was admirable for them to use vaccines that, were meant for staff, but to use it for the patients, because they are seeing more and more people in healthcare. And, even though they're not seeing their family members, but they're having more contact with more people than I necessarily would on a daily basis. So I'm waiting for the next round of vaccines to become available. And because I'm a student, I'm lower on the totem pole, but I do feel that with the proper education, understanding, how these vaccines are developed, it is something that we all need to, take into heed. And I would like to express that the fact that, yes, we are intelligent people, and it's great to ask questions, and it's great to, be hesitant because we're thinking. We're not just following like, oh, this is what we have to do, and that's something we have um, that we have earned the right to do. And it's okay. It's totally okay. I just want people to be driven by facts and not fear
Right.
over certain things, and look at evidence and make their decisions based off of evidence and not emotion. I know a lot of things like that drives us, and that's totally fine. I want people to, not feel bad or even don't feel like you have to explain yourself if you want to get the vaccine or not, because what's right for you. But I want you to know what's right for you and what's right for your family with all the evidence and things that are that's actually put out there. That's the truth, and not something that is just made up.
Well, thank you. And that's what we, in working in the African American community, we want people to make educated decisions. We're not proponents and we're not opponents of the vaccine. We just want people, whatever your opinion is, whatever your choice is, to do it with education backing you, and with facts and research, leading your decision. So
Yeah.
I'm going to get back to you and your nursing career. I know I was reading your bio, and you said that you want to practice or aim your career at women's health. Why women's health and not another specialty?
Okay, so before I was looking at like neurology and other things that just sounded exciting, right? Like from just watching TV, and you're not really into the field yet. But one thing I noticed is that with women's health, we are often overlooked, and so many studies and research and the care that we don't allow ourselves to get. Because one thing for sure, I'm a mother, I'm a wife, and I know the importance of health, but I often put myself on the back burner, and that's not good. And I've also noticed that from especially women of color, we don't get seen for things that we normally don't think that we need to be seen for. Like some of us have heavier periods, but we don't know that some of us are suffering from endometriosis or something along the lines with fibroids. And these things can be life threatening and they're painful. And I think for women of color, Black and brown, that we're used to living with the pain to where our pain becomes comfortable. And I just want to let women know, like, you don't have to live with that. You have every right to be comfortable and to take care of yourself. So as a woman myself, and as a woman of color, I really just want to be out there and express the need of getting women out there and getting their mammograms and taking care of their heart health and walking and getting that anxiety down and taking care of themselves as a whole, instead of, just, oh, I'm just going to get my pap smear, once every 3 years or whatever it is now. And I would like to see more research done on us and what we go through, because there's so many things out there for men, but when it comes to women, we don't see a lot when it comes to infertility. We don't see a lot when it comes to menopause. And it just really comes around to education. So that's just something I really want to get out there. And I feel, I'm not sure if you can tell, I'm lighting up about it because I just feel like a passion for it. And I'm just now starting to have talks about it. And it's nothing to be shameful of. Sex is nothing to be shameful of. Knowing your body is nothing to be shameful of. I know myself, I know my friends, we never really look at our own vagina. And there's nothing wrong with that, and there's certain things that, you need to know what's going on with yourself. And that's something that I really have a passion for. And I know through education and community work that I would definitely be able to make a difference in that.
Well, I know that you're almost done with school.
Yes.
And so what were some of the challenges, if any, that you were met with in trying to get into school? Because I know that a lot of nursing schools, they have lotteries, and there's a waiting list and the expense, the financial burden. What were some of your challenges?
Oh man, there's a list. I will definitely start off with one of the biggest challenges is I'm not wealthy, far from it,
Mhm.
and I don't have the education, I didn't have the right path to actually tell me what I needed to do and how I needed to do it. So years ago, when I decided that I wanted to become a nurse, my only focus was to become a registered nurse. And with that, um, there comes, especially in California, you have to have A's and B's and all your sciences and all your prereqs. And with that, there, and I couldn't always afford books. I couldn't afford tutors. I couldn't afford certain things that my classmates were able to afford, or even the guidance to certain things. So if I received a C in a biology, that was it for me. And now I'm having counselors telling me, oh, maybe you should choose something different, or maybe you should choose. They were guiding me in different directions instead of trying to help me get back on the path that I needed, that I felt I deserved to be on. Where I found out just from talking to other people, my white counterparts, they're not guiding them to do something different. They're telling them, oh, okay, it's okay, you can do this,
Mhm.
and we can get you back onto this. I didn't know the avenues that were I was able to take. It wasn't until I started reaching out to people and actually finding a Black nurse that just through talking, and they were like, oh, well, I started off as a LVN. And for people that don't understand LVNs and RNs, there's always like this hidden thing where they're saying that LVNs are not real nurses, but the fact is they are. And a lot of RNs and a lot of nurse practitioners, a lot of doctors actually have a CNA, which is certified nursing assistant, and LVN background.
Mhm.
And I believe that it's something that we need to remind ourselves of, is to honor each step that we take. Sometimes we see that, oh, okay, well, I just want to be at the top. So I didn't look at LVN school because at first everybody's like, oh, don't become an LVN. They're getting phased out of hospitals, they're getting phased out of
Oh,
clinical areas. And what it came down to was, you know what, this is my walk, this is my path, and this
mhm.
is what I'm setting to do. And one thing through God's grace, that I actually stopped, listened to myself, um, and realized that this is my story, and this is going to be my testimony, and whatever I'm doing at this point right now, it's definitely going to show someone else that they can do it too. And I know for myself, becoming an LVN, and I had to actually go through a private school because
Mhm.
community colleges are so um, they're impacted, and you're getting 24 nurses or 22 nurses per year, and when you have over 1,000 applicants,
Oh, wow.
it becomes very, very hard to get into school. And there's nothing wrong with investing in yourself, and that's something where, coming back into women's health and women period, that was something that I had a hard time understanding. Like, I feel like spending all this money to better myself, right?
Yeah.
But I'm like, how am I taking away from my family? But let me tell you, all the fears that I had and all the objections that in denial and everything that I put on myself or someone else tried to put on me, those things never came into fruition. Those
Yeah.
things never, ever stopped me. And let me tell you, who I am today and this bright smile, my kids see it, my family see it, and I am pouring into myself so I can pour into them. And I'm just grateful because I invested in myself. And I know that investing in myself, I'm investing in my family and I'm investing in my legacy. And this is just something that I'm grateful for every single day.
Well, I can tell that, and you have to have passion in what you
Mm.
do, and I can definitely see that in you. I really look forward to you being a nurse, and maybe I'll come across you in some of my medical adventures. But I think in finalizing our interview, I want to ask you, what advice do you have? Because for youth, or for even, I mean, you don't even have to be young to make another career choice or change.
Mhm.
What advice do you have at this stage, looking at the temperature of, pun intended, the temperature of our economy, our health, of our everything that's out there and all the obstacles, and what is your advice for a young person or a person who wants to make another decision about their career to getting into nursing? What would you suggest that they do?
My main thing I would suggest is do your research. You know, do your own research, and I'm not talking about talking to friends, other friend that has a cousin that's a nurse. I'm talking about doing your own research, seeing if nursing is right for you, seeing if, I'm not sure if hospitals right now are offering, volunteers to come in, but see if you can shadow someone, see if you can, reach out to Capital City Black Nurses Association. There's tons of nurses there that are willing and they want to teach you. There's tons of people out there that really want you to understand what they do on a daily basis, knowing that nursing is not just bedside nursing anymore. We have nurse informatics. There's so many things that you can do when you're a nurse. It's no longer just, getting next to someone and giving them pills and all that. No, that's something that we have to put out into our communities, that especially when it comes to Black nurses and women of color, we are looking at you as a whole. And so if you want to be a part of that, know what you are getting yourself into, because like I said, it's an investment within yourself. Know that you deserve it. Also know that people will try to steer you in different directions, but your passion and your purpose is not for anyone else to understand. It's only for you to understand. And so I just want people to understand that, really focus in on what you want to do. Know that fears are just fears, they're fake, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Keep going, give yourself grace. Malcolm X said falling is not stumbling, or what was it? Something like that. Don't even put that in there. I forgot what it was, but it was something along the line. It was something, yeah, it was something like that. Stumbling. Oh, that's it. Stumbling is not falling. There we go. It's just, there it is. It's just something along the lines where you know what's right for you. This is your life. Don't let anyone else try to drag you and do different things. You have complete control over your life. And I just read in a book not so long ago. I forgot the book now, but it was just talking about how you are not a passenger in your life. You are the driver.
Right.
Even though you have so many things that you might have on your shoulders, if you feel like you deserve this and you feel like this is something that you want to do, just know that you are able to do it. Okay. This is so much bigger than just you. All right. And especially when becoming a nurse, you're not just out here advocating for people that look like us, but you're also showing people like, hey, this is real. Like, our culture is real. Things that we go through are real. Our fear is real. And I want people to come into hospitals, clinical settings, and know that if someone says, hey, I know I have a surgery, but I have braids in my hair, what's going to happen? You know what I mean? You need to understand that. So if anything, someone that is having a hard time getting into nursing school, just know that we need you. There's different avenues. There's different ways that you can become a nurse. Even though I am becoming a vocational nurse, a licensed vocational nurse, that's not where I'm stopping, and you can only put the limits on yourself. And through education, knowledge, acceptance, and there's tons of other things out there in the healthcare field that we do need to see you in. We need to see you in radiology. We need to see you as an EMT, as a paramedic. We do need to see you as, a CNA. We need to see you in so many different lights. And if you're not sure, just do your research. You have the tools, you have the resources.
Well, I want to thank you so much for spending this time with us, sharing your hopes and your fears and your experiences on your journey to being a licensed vocational we're putting it out there, and we're putting it out there in the cosmos, because
Oh,
we know
yes.
it's going to happen real soon.
Yeah.
The license part, you're gonna sail through that, no problem. And maybe one day we'll be talking to Dr. Nurse Charde Vance. We thank you so
Yeah.
much, and good
Thank
luck.
you for having me.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
so much for having me.